that for me was probably the most traumatizing experience of my childhood.
I'm in the Philippines! This is my fourth time to the Philippines. My father is from Bicol, from Sorsogon, and my mother is from Switzerland. Both of my parents are immigrants who met in the United States.
Being mixed race coming up, going to the high schools, I got a lot of rejection from the Filipino community.
I'm mixed race, I'm Mexican, I'm Filipino, and I never even thought really that I looked Filipino.
Was the first group I've ever felt like so at home in, and then to come to a homeland with the crew that you feel at home with. I can't imagine, like I can't even imagine like a better way to do it.
This is for the ancestors that are buried in this land, for all of the people who have died in the struggles to make this ours. They claim it as ours, and not as American ours, but as Filipino ours. This is from my brother and from my sisters for the chance they'll get to see this.
Being Filipino-American and coming to the Philippines and being able to do cultural work here and to be queer and to be out is really, really transformative for all of us.
I've been trying to get a hold of my dad for the past 3 days, 2 days, and the reason why is because I really want to go to his hometown. And I really want to go see my Lola's grave, and I kind of felt like, even though I don't really care much to get his permission for anything, that I really wanted to have his blessing to go, because you know, like, it's been like 25 something, almost 30 years, and he never went back, and now his oldest daughter is coming back, and so I didn't feel like I could do that without his permission, because it's his place.
It's one of my favorite places in the world to be here in my grandfather's house, where, you know, my dad was born, where my great-grandmother slept. But it's also a really, like, it's always been a very silencing place for me too. I don't speak Bicol, so much of my trip when I come here by myself is in silence. Like, I don't talk. I just sit around and like try and pick up language, and then that gets so tiring after a while. I just kind of zone out, and I write, and I just keep to myself, and it's like it gets to be like really like way down.
My mom always like raised us, me and my brother, to be white American. She always said, "You're not Filipino, you're American," and she forbid us to learn Tagalog. Even though there was courses in school, forbid us to learn anything similar to Tagalog, like Spanish.
When I was born, I spoke Visayan. I spoke Cebuano Visayan, and since then, I've lost that language. Because in the U.S., it's really important not to have an accent, right? And to speak English as well as you can. So it's funny because English is not my first language, but it's the language that I have mastered. And I have lost my first language.
I think there's always a sense for immigrant communities, be it Mexican, be it Filipino, be it any of the immigrant culture, especially in the United States, even if people are never going back, there's always a sense. And a want to go back.
You know I don't mind. Oh, you know
talked to him this morning, and it was really short, and he was really like excited to have me go. He was like, yeah, of course I want you to go. Yeah, it'll be good. And so like the fears that I had about him like not wanting me to be there like, were just fears.
I think we all in some ways like have felt rejected from various communities, and so this is a place where we're like, fuck rejection, you know, we're gonna be like inclusive and we're gonna be embracing and just do things right.
I look American, you know, like I'm butch, I'm bald, I'm tattooed, I obviously look different, I don't feel different. The stares don't affect me as much as stares in the US do.
To have people come up to me on the street or like be talking to me like for like 3 or 5 sentences in Tagalog in a taxi, like this like place has given me a sense of acceptance that I really never ever thought that I would have.
And I don't know, there's something different about white people staring down at me than, you know, being here and having Filipinos who are just curious about me.
That whole thing about like being queer being a Western thing, like I had it in my head that like Filipinos, there weren't a whole lot of queer Filipinos. We've been like at this conference where there's mad amounts of queer Filipinos who are just like totally like, yeah, of course there's queer Filipinos. It's part like just to see it like, and it's almost like it's part of the culture in some ways. Like has given me a sense of acceptance for myself that I don't think I would have otherwise.
This land is so fertile. It's so obvious that it can feed and clothe and support every single living thing here. And it makes me so angry to think that people are starving here, that people are poor here, when it just doesn't have to be that way, and it's only because of like whatever, like the corruption of government officials or the greed of bureaucrats that people are starving here.
People have this idea that you come to the United States for a better life and then return back bringing what you've prospered. And none of my family has done that. I think it feels important for me to come back and bring back what prosper they have found in the U.S.
I'd acknowledge my privilege as you know, being college educated and all that, but I think like getting an international consciousness, like going someplace, going to a third world country has really just expanded like what that consciousness is, and you can't get it until you like step outside of your surroundings.
I feel like I'm going back with this renewed sense of faith that there is a place in this country for me, and for the work that I want to do.
I work in a school that's 90-something% kids of color, and most of the teachers, it's like 89% of the teachers are white. And I feel like I need to be there, like our kids need to know, like we should have known, there should have been people in our lives when we were younger telling us how fucking fabulous it is to be Filipino, how great it is that we are people of color, and I feel like I need to be there for those kids to let them know that they can go back to where they're from and that they are beautiful people.
Together we are like reminded of the context that we're here in and the importance, and that we're a unit, we're together. Really truly trying to be a collective, and I feel like that is Filipino.
Coming here, like I feel like I'm filling a part of myself that I never knew was empty. And so I feel like completing that means going to San Fernando, means seeing my dad's place, you know, not just this country, but just seeing his place, seeing his hometown.
dreams of love. She said it reminded my daddy. My daddy. He loved to fly. He said, death will come fast. I wanna be free. Closer to the sky. Love grows cold, alone and tired. On the wings of angels, I want to fly. That is just the blood in my veins.